Okay, well, with that, let's dive into shoulders part two. Last week, I went over the top of the shoulder, where I guess I don't know if a quick review is totally in order, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Boop, 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 right? Where we covered the deltoid over the top, right? The pec, right? The bicep, the tricep in the back, that brachiosaur right there, right? Underneath it, there was the clavicle, there was the humerus, there was the scapula and the rib cage, right? I'm not going to go into detail there. There's a whole lecture on it, but that was the top of the shoulder. Today, we're going to go over the bottom of the shoulder, or as many people call it, the armpit. So, same bones are involved as before. You have this fella right here, which is your collarbone and or clavicle. Then you have this fella right here, which is your humerus, right? The scapula's back here, but we don't need it from this front angle. And then we got, actually, the scapula does have a lot of insertions. And then there's the rib cage, right? Let's label it. This here is your humerus. Say it with me. I know you just mutter it to yourself, and I'm going to pretend you said it. Clavicle, or as many call it, the AKA the collarbone, right? You don't want to break that thing. It's going to suck. I haven't broken it, but I've seen some friends break it, and they do not have a fun time, so I don't recommend it. So drink your milk or eat your broccoli, something full of calcium, right? So these are your major bones and the arm is raised. Hopefully you can kind of envision that this is a raised arm. Let's explore the muscle puzzle pieces. That kind of rhymes, muscle puzzle, kind of like that. That go into a raised arm, okay? I'm going to put this over to the side so we can still see it. Oop, here. See, it's fighting me. It's just... I'm going to find those people at Adobe, and I'm gonna get them. I'm going to tackle them and then launch myself at their faces like a Wolverine. Maybe you guys have seen those videos of Wolverines just being absolute shit kickers, right? Jeez, man. Just like holding onto a moose's face for dear life, and the moose is like, I don't know what I did, but I regret it. I shouldn't have done whatever I did. Yeah, they're mean. It's okay. So let's start with the muscles you remember from last week, because I know they're in there. The first one is the pec, right? Remember our old friend, the pec? It attaches on the humerus here, and we'll use green again for the tendon insertions. Just a quick reminder that how muscles work is they attach to bones, your skeleton via tendons, and then all the muscle tissue in between the tendons will contract to move your body around, right? Good, it's still in there. Okay, so your pec attaches all around here, right? There's your pec. Right, there it is. We can make this a little lighter. Okay. Pec attaches to the humerus, the collarbone, and the rib cage. Okay, what comes next? Well, obviously, the deltoid. Well, remember the deltoid? There's 3 heads, right? From the front, you're going to see this one here attached to the collarbone, like that. And we'll start just putting the puzzle together, right? Little by little. So the deltoid comes over like that, and it sits a little on top of the pec. Right now, there's a fun little thing to keep in mind here. We'll come to this, is remember there's 3 heads to the deltoid, right? There's the front one, the middle one, and the back one. When the armpit's up, and this catches a lot of folks off guard, is you can kind of see the back one over here, right? Because it comes around the arm. You remember, it attaches to the scap back here, or the scapula. So we're going to put a little note right there of that deltoid, so we'll come back to it. And then our old friend, the bicep, right? Remember the bicep? Of course you do. We just plot this out. The bicep, which we still remember, is on top of the humerus, and it snakes under all this stuff and connects to the scap in the back, but you won't see that, so it's just going to be the deltoid. Oop, right? There's our bicep. And then we had our tricep in the back, still stuff we're familiar with from last week, right? The triceps along the back of the arm. And there are 3 heads. Remember that? Do you remember the 3 heads of the tricep, right? Try, 3 head, bi, 2 head, right? That's all still there. This is all stuff we mentioned last week. I'm just making sure it's all still in there before we get to the new weird stuff. Ho, 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 ho. Right? So I'll start labeling these what you guys think about your old friends here, right? I remember these muscles. I saw these last week, and I studied them very diligently because I am a good boy or girl. This is the front delt. This is the rear delt. And delt is just street lingo for the deltoid, right? Just how pec is street lingo for the pectoralis major. Ooh. Or, you know, just pec. Okay. So, you guys following along so far? You remember all our old friends here, right? We're getting to our new friends, because that's what we're doing here. We're making muscle friends. So I'll let that stew for a second and wait to see at least one yes in that chat. I see Ignis is going to give us our yes today, unless you don't get it. If you don't get it, just type, I'm lost. Oh, Dragon won. That was a quick yeah. Nice. I didn't see you type. Okay. We're going to meet some new friends today. Still drawing it all out. Perfect. Perfect. I like that we have the chat here in the video now, because that's just like, as you guys are actually giving me the feedback, people watching later can see the feedback is happening instead of just a silent void. Which I'm pretty pumped about. Okay, well, that's probably enough space for that. Let's dive into our brand new friends, okay? Our brand new friends, of which there are going to be, say, 3 to 4, depending on when to put that. So, the first one, let's grab a color we haven't used here, is going to be your coracobrachialis, right? And that, we're going to put this fella right here. There. I need room to write this. This is the one I had to go look up. I remember where he is, but I don't remember his name. Which is very awkward. Like, you know, you bumped into somebody at a party and you're like, oh God, I know their face. I know their face. What's the name? What's the name? We forgot the name. And maybe you do something clever like, hey, what's your name? And they say it and they look a little annoyed. Like, no, I meant your last name, which is your little subtle trick. You didn't want their last name. You wanted their first name. You're just being a sly little scoundrel, right? And that's what we have here. This is, I'm going to try and write this out. The coracobrachialis, and that's bumping into our collarbone word over here. So I've messed up. And this little fella is on your humerus, right? And it comes under. He's right in here, right? And he sneaks in between your bicep and your tricep, right? He's just right in there. That's your coracobrachialis right there, eh? That's your guy. And that's that one you kind of see that looks like your armpit muscle. It's right under here, right? I'm going to just keep sketching this out for you guys. See how it all just kind of sandwiches together, right? Keep sketching. So that's your first friend, right? Friend number 1 is your coracobrachialis. That's kind of your armpit muscle. And I got some examples we'll get into later. We can see that. Your next brand new friend, who you're going to call every Christmas because you want to make sure they're okay. Friend number 2 is called your teres major. Okay. Right there. There's friend number 2. And the teres major, it comes around from your scapula, around your back, and it connects right under here. Oh wait, I already used purple for the tricep. Son of a bee sting. What haven't I used yet? Green. Okay, your new friend is green now. Your teres major. I don't know what a teres means, but I know major means good, right? And it connects to your humerus, right? Your arm bone. It comes underneath like that. There's your teres major. There's one more friend. He always hangs out with your teres major. he's going to be in yellow. That is your latissimus dorsi, or if you walk into a gym and talk to somebody, it's called your lats, right? Or the latissimus dorsi. And those are your brand new friends. There's just 3 of them. And these 3, right, let's even do a little, let's get a little fancy with it, right? Because we like fancy. Because we're fancy people and we like fancy things. So I'm actually going to color them in. Here's your new friends. Right, so there's your lat. Who doesn't like the colored in stuff, right? It looks so fancy, right? There's your other friend. These are your underarm buddies on top of your old friends you met last week who are just doing their old thing. And I'm going to add, he's kind of not really so much in the friend group as he sort of floats around the friend group, and that is your rear delt. Remember how I talked about that? He sneaks around the back, right? We're going to call him 3.5, or we'll give him a full friends tab. We'll call him 4, right? Right? That all makes sense so far. And I will say to anybody who's like, but what about all this? What's this? These are called serratus muscles. You don't really need them for this. They just connect to the rib cage, right? So we'll add that in. We'll add in some extra friends because, you know, it's always good to have friend groups grow. Not technically a part of your armpit, but these are the serratus muscles, right? And with that, you got an armpit. And now if you're like, okay, Satsu, what does that all mean? Don't worry, we got references. We're going to dive into it. And I'm going to break down these muscles on actual people so you can see it. Because what I want from you, or for you, is that when you go into your references and you study and you look at these human bodies doing all their crazy, you know, masterwork study stuff. You're like, oh, okay, that's the coracobrachialis. And you go, oh, yes, very good. Right? Tricep. Here's your bicep. I don't know why I wasn't coloring these in before. This looks so cool. I feel like I'm making an anatomy book. Isn't that cool? That looks so neat. It looks like I know what I'm talking about. Say with a posh British accent. Say what with a posh British accent? All the different muscles. The front deltoids, the bicep, the tricep, the coracobrachialis. Yes, thank you. Would you like a coracobrachialis with your tea, Lord Humpta Fumpa? Humpta Fumpanchio? Okay, that map makes sense of all the new friends you have on the armpit before we hop over to seeing what this does on a real human body. Actually, I'll make a little aside. We'll do one from the side too, since that's probably a great idea, right? I'm gonna sketch this in for you. It's all good. You can come back to this a million times. It's not gonna go anywhere. Let's draw this from the side real quick. Okay, so if we were to do this from the side, if the bones were to be like, here's your clavicle, your humerus, your scap, right? Rib cage. Okay, right? Boom. Oh, sorry, I should have the arm straight out because sometimes that throws people off too, and I'll make sure I get that. I'll get all your stuff for you. From the side, same thing. Here's our pec. Sketchy, sketchy, sketchy. I'm going to just do this, give Ignis some time to write things out. So you guys have this to reference later. Does this side one help a little bit? I thought this might be useful to make some more sense of it when it's just tucked up like that instead of looking underneath somebody like some weirdo. Slapping this together for you. Yeah, this is a standard front. Just in case someone just has their arm out to the side for whatever reason. So you're not just underneath, you can kind of see it in a different pose. Like, oh, okay, cool. Right. I'll label them again because I like you. Right. Here's your bicep. This is your deltoid. Front and a little bit of the lateral. Your medial delt, which would be kind of like that. You'll see it. Tricep. Don't worry, we're going to dive into the live stuff. So you're like, okay. Okay, I bet you it's going to start just clicking when you see it on real bodies. Lats. And the coracobrachialis. Brachialis, right? Cool. Nice and informative. So let's take our two buddies here. We're going to just take this whole thing. Save that as an image and hop over to our live references. Put this here on. Okay, so we got those there. Make this a little smaller. All right. Here's our two arms. We don't need this. Let's hop into some live ones. If you got any questions while I start doing this, don't be shy. We'll go over it. So here's our first dude who has not seen a carb since 2006, and he wants you to know about it. By the way, a carb is a carbohydrate. To those who are uninitiated to the Iron Temple, that just means like sugars, you know, starches, things like that. Sody pops, candy bars, potatoes. It's all the same. It's all just the same. Okay. Now you notice right here, I picked this guy because you can see right here. See the separation here? There's those two friends that always move around together. See that? You see what I mean? Where like now you look at the pose of a human body, you kind of see all the pieces. You're like, oh, okay. Perhaps it's a little less daunting now to kind of have that awareness of the puzzle pieces. It's a little less frightening and strange, right? Let me show you where the pieces are. But by now, I bet you're starting to get a little bit of an inkling where these things are. So let's turn this down. And I will put these side by side so you can actually see these. So we have the little one we're going to trace over, and we got the full guy so you can see it as it all comes together. So, where's the pec? Shout it at the screen. Come on, like Dora the Explorer. KSL pec. Or no, Donde es el pec, right? I think that's Espanol. Right? Right here. Look at that. There's his pec. Oop. See that? We're doing another one. You see right here, there's his pec. And you can see there's those two heads, right? There's that, and there's like the top of the pec. See how it all connects? Here's the rib cage, clavicle. It's all there, right? Nipple. Do the dotted line so you can see this. Right? Dot, 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 dot. Right? It's connecting to his humerus up here. Clavicle, rib cage. There's his pec. Okay. We don't need that nipple. That's just nonsensical. And then right here, what do you have here? We have the front delt. Remember? It attached to the humerus and the clavicle. Right? There's your delt. Your deltoid, front deltoid. I would even recommend, as an aside, do not think of the deltoid as one muscle, but 3 separate muscles. Because it caps out the whole shoulder, right? It's all over. Like the deltoids are quite large in the area they cover. So don't think of it as just one muscle, honestly. You'll go much further, get more bang for your buck if you just accept it's 3 muscles. Just accept it, okay? Okay. Where is our little buddy, the coracobrachialis? Right here, see this fella? Right there. There it is. Little tiny guy, but that just makes the whole armpit sing, right? He's right there. There's your coracobrachialis. I'm going to point to this here because I don't want to write it again because I'm lazy. Right? Okay. Right here, you see this line here, how he's got these 2 of these. Right there, there's 2 of them. There's your teres major. The teres major is on top of the lat, right? And then underneath is the lat, all the way around. You might go like, what's this pocket? Well, that's actually sort of, if you take your hand and you feel another, that's actually your rib cage. You're going to feel that. There's not actually much there. That's just actually kind of a little bit of bone. Because what's kind of happening is, we do a little aside here. Turn this off for a sec. Is as your arm sticks out, and this is the underside of the arm I'm going to draw, right? The muscles kind of fold around it like that, right? They kind of do that, and they create this sort of empty space under here as the muscles wrap around, and that's what's happening. So this whole abscess here, that's just kind of bone, right? This is a kind of a creepy looking drawing. Hopefully that made sense. Did that make sense, right? For like, what's that abscess of something under there? Yeah. Here's your teres major, right? You can see here, these ones here, the ones I was talking about, those are the serratus muscles. They follow along the rib cage. I'm sorry, did my doorbell just go off? Is someone going to die today? How dare you ring my doorbell while I'm doing a lecture? How dare you? I'm not getting that. Anyways, bicep right there. You see it? This big old bicep. And then here's the tricep. And now remember, the tricep is 3 heads. It's not one muscle, right? They group it as one muscle, but really there's a long head. Right, you can kind of see here in some of the, let's turn that down slightly. Oop, wrong one. You can see how there's kind of different bodies happening, and that's because there are actually 3 heads to the tricep, right? I don't want to make you like too focused. We'll just do the one here. I just want to keep you aware of that because there's a long head on the inside, comes up like that, and then there's a shorter one next to it, right? For now, we'll just call that the tricep. I just want you to be aware of that. So when you look at triceps, it's aha. And then this here, that's your rear delt. Oh, that A messed up. Rear delt. Okay, see all the pieces working together there? Do you want me to color them in, or does that make sense so far? Kind of see what I'm talking about with the puzzle pieces and fitting together? Coloring. Oh, of course. Of course, of course, of course. Let's color that bad boy in. Okay. Absolutely. Coloring is good. Helps you see all the pieces when it's colored in. Okay, cool. There is that one. Let's dive into some more. Right? Armpits aren't that scary, right? It's just they get a lot of heat, but they're not that bad. And before I move on, can you kind of see these pieces yourself over here without even seeing this? Just can you see them sort of starting to reveal themselves to you? Good. That's what I want to hear, because that's the stuff that's going to get you wins. Okay, so there's ref 1. Let's move on to our next one. A pretty girl. With an arm in the air. Like she just doesn't care. Oh, that's just sad. Okay, let's block these out. Why don't you take a sec look at it and see if you can start to see the pieces yourself. Just take a few seconds to look at it, visualize it, and then when I start going in with the actual lines and muscles, you can kind of go, oh, yeah, oh no, oh, right? And let's see how you do. So I'm going to just take a sec here, a deep breath, and we'll see how you do. We'll do what was it? I had the Jeopardy song. We're like, here we go. You have to the end of the song. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Where's the muscles in the shoulder? You are out of time. Let's go. All right. Hope you figured it out. Let's go. Okay. This one, the pec. Right here. All right. There's your pec. Right here. That's your delt. Front delt, because I'm going to make sure you understand these. That does not look like deltoid. Yes, sending the ref would be awesome, wouldn't it? Well, here, let me drop this in for you right now. We'll do a little aside. Can I just send this puppy over to you? Can I just copy and drop it? No, but I can do this. Watch this. For I am a computer wizard. We'll just grab this. Copy. Droppy. There you go. Grab it. Follow along. Nice. Nice. That's what I want. I love it. I'm going to give you guys a sec to put it in the program. Cool. I assume you have it. Back to it. Okay. What comes next? Our old friend, coracobrachialis. Right in there. Again, I'm not going to write it. There it is. Coracobrachialis. And then we got our bicep. Then we got our tricep, right? See, it's not that bad. So many concerns about the damn armpit, but it's not that crazy. Right here. Teres. And you can see here when it's like less defined because she's not on roids. She probably actually doesn't eat that many carbs, but it's just right here. Right? It's not that crazy. But you know it's there now, right? That's the important part. You can see here, there's that kind of little, we'll call that the void, right? It's just kind of this pocket, this little itty bitty pocket where there's just kind of some shade before we get out to the serratus muscles, right? Oop, I put that on the layer. Uh-oh. Oh no. You know that thing where you draw on the wrong layer? Oops. As is a digital tradition. Okay, let's color it in. You're kind of probably starting to see the process here, right? You want to do a few more? Or are you kind of clicking? You can do a few more. I got a few more for you. May as well, right? If you have any questions, by all means. Oh, and then of course there is there. The back of the deltoid is usually ever so slightly visible. Cool. We'll do a few more. See that? Easy peasy. What do we got here? Ooh, here's the guy. I thought this was a real good one to see the armpit. Also a man who is not just avoiding carbs, but I assume has a carb phobia. If you show him pasta, he actually runs away screaming. I know, I saw him do it once. Let me get you that picture so you can doodle along. Here you go. Take a sec if you want to drop it into your favorite program. Okay, you got it? Let's go over it. Let's demystify this stupid armpit. So the next time you see those little Instagram images where like, there it is, and you're like, I know, shut up. You can go in there and comment it like, listen here, you little, I know exactly what this is. I know it better than you actually. And there's the things you're doing wrong, 1, 2, and 3. And you can educate them and spread armpit awareness to the world. Right? Love it. Okay, let's get it. Let's break them down. Ooh, I zoomed way in. So, you're probably starting to see a pattern here. Pec's a great place to start. Why? Because it's just kind of big, right? Here it is, along the collarbone, along that rib cage. Remember, there's a big head right here. Boom. Big piece of muscle. There's his pec. Here's his nipple. Hello. Right? Sneaks in under there. Remember, you see how that has that little kind of point? It's because it's sneaking in between that deltoid and that bicep. Just sneaking. Just don't mind me. I'm just a friendly little bicep and a friendly little delt, hugging my friend, the pectoralis major. All right, there's your bicep. Well, actually, I should do our old friend, the coracle brachialis. Now, this one you can't quite see because he didn't shave, but it's right in here, right? Right here. That's where it always is. I believe it attaches to the scapula on the back. Yes, yes, that sounds right. Yeah, it does. It attaches to the scapula. Right? And here's... I used green for the teres major, right? Right here. There's your teres major. He's quite pale. I'm having a hard time seeing the reference. Brother needs to go outside more. Right, yeah. He's pale as a ghost. He's afraid of carbs and the sun, apparently. Poor thing. And here's another point right here. See that? That delt just sneaks in the back. You see that? He just sneaky. See how the muscle kind of comes in, right? It doesn't, like there's a curve right here. Like what is that? That's because the tricep is leaving just a little peak of deltoid right here, okay? Anytime you see that, like, what is this? What is this? That's the other side of the shoulder. Oh. That's a thing? Yeah, it's a thing. Okay, here's that void. And you see here we have those serratus muscles, etc., etc. And there's that one. Let's color it in for you. I can't imagine it's got to be start clicking now, right? I think we're probably pretty good on the lecture. You guys learning something so far? Am I getting light bulbs? Because that's what I want. I want to hear that we're getting light bulbs, and that just drawing and expressing yourself is just getting that much easier. I want to just drown you in light bulbs. Good. I want you to swim in a sea of light bulbs. That would bring me the joy that I desire in this life, is to send you adrift in a sea of light bulbs. Oh, I didn't label it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Don't call the police, please. I have to write it. It's the wrong side. Coracobrachialis. And I'm not going to abbreviate it. I committed to it. I'm professional. Bicep. Tricep. Here's your back, rear, or I believe posterior delt is acceptable. Here's your front delt. Here's your pec. This serratus, which was always one of my favorite names for muscles. Your light bulb. Hopefully you guys seen Despicable Me, or that's going to just sound weird. Oh, I don't think I've seen all of them. I saw like the first one or two, and then they just started making a bunch of Minions spin-offs or something. I don't know. Cool, let's do one more and then dive into some questions, the Q&A stuff. Ref 3, Ref 2, right? Let's do one more. One more girl. I made sure to get some girl ones because I've been picking on just the guys. I usually like using guys for the muscle studies because you can have much more muscle mass. You can see where everything is. But then, you know, I can see how you go to the girl frame and you're like, okay, where's the muscle? Uh-oh, right? Because there's a different kind of, let's call it a different kind of study issue where it isn't as defined. It doesn't tell you exactly where it is. Just like girls to be sneaky, right? They're always up to something, right? No, I'm just teasing. Girls are great. What do you want? I don't read minds. I am a simple man. I chop wood. I attack animals and bring them to you. I am just a simple man. Where the hell is your terrace major? But she won't tell you. She wants you to find that terrace major. Because that's how she knows you're a real man. A real man knows where a terrace major is, right? Okay, so random gender commentary aside, let's dive into learning how to draw girls. Okay, so yeah, my stupid comedic attempt to be comedic rambles aside, where the hell is her pec? It's right here. I'll show you where it is. See? There it is. See? Right there. Wasn't so bad, right? Now, what does that mean? What comes in? Oh, I didn't give you the ref. Oh, no. Minus 10 points from Gryffindor. Because I took the Harry Potter test once, and it said I'd be Gryffindor, so it's got to be from my house, right? You guys ever take the Harry Potter test? What'd you get? 'Cause let's be honest, we've all done it at least once, even if we're not a fan or we are a fan. I actually thought about it once. Actually, quite recently, like with the movies I've watched the most. Because I was thinking, what would be my favorite movie based on the amount of views I've watched? And I thought it would be like Lord of the Rings or something, because I love Lord of the Rings. But I guess because it's like a 12-hour commitment to watch all 3 movies, extended edition, of course, I've ended up watching a lot more like Hunger Games and Harry Potter, and I've hate watched Twilight a few times because it's just hilarious. And I'm just sitting there realizing, like, am I a 14-year-old girl? Like, all these movies I watch, like, should I get an always necklace? Jeez. Not to hate anybody that likes Harry Potter. Harry Potter's totally cool. I've watched it a lot. It's just kind of easy to watch. Anyway, there's the pec. There's the front delt, right? And there's our old friend right there, the coracobrachialis, brachialis, right? You see the bicep right here, the tricep. That means in that little intersection right here, that intersection, that's our old friend, the coracobrachialis. Okay? Right at that intersection. When you see this, like, what the hell is this? That's your coracobrachialis doing its job, helping you bring your arm down to your side. All right, there she is. Right in between that little pec area there. And then what comes next? The teres major right there. Right? There it is. See it right there. You can kind of see it in the subtle lines. Right? Next, of course, lat along the back. Right? Here's your... See that? Here's I picked this one because it has a great example of that cap on the back where you can see how it wraps around, right? How that delt just hugs the top of that arm. All right, that's why I kind of say you should think of it as 3 different muscles, because this is the front delt. That's the front. And there's the rear. Right? You see why it's important to think about it in 3 muscles? Really helps you demystify the whole arm. Bicep right here. You can see it just along the top of the arm. Just like that, right? There it is. There's a better line. And this one also picks a good chance to see the tricep in all its glory, right? Because you might go, oh, it's one muscle. Wrong. So there's the long head on the inside, right? And this one, let me think for a sec. It connects to this. Hold on a sec. I gotta think about this. It's on the inside of the arm and it connects to the scapula. Yeah, there's the long head here, right? And it has that kind of, there's a horseshoe shape to it. It kind of does this, right? That's how a tricep works. There's your long head, and then there's a little one right here. And then there's the other head out here. We'll just write tricep, but I want you to be aware of that. Because you can see on her, there's like a slight dip there. That's because there's the 3 heads of the tricep, right? Like that. I think we got all the muscles. Oh, we didn't do the serratus. Again, that would be our little void here, the armpit void. Then from the void emerges the serratus muscles. Like some forgotten god king out to punch Cthulhu in the face. Or I don't know, Godzilla. He comes out of the void, right? The ocean's like a big void, and Godzilla shows up and punches some giant spider in the face. Man, I loved watching Godzilla when I was a kid. Still, you know what? I still love Godzilla. I should watch Godzilla more so that when I do that test of what have you seen the most, it's just Godzilla's my favorite movie. I love Godzilla. I mean, what's not to like? He's like a giant I don't know how tall he is, like 1,000-foot tall lizard that protects mankind. Sounds pretty cool to me. Last time I checked, major deities like Jesus, Buddha, and Muhammad don't fight giant spiders for us. Godzilla does. So, take that to the bank. With that, we got our 4 references. After the 4 people, are you feeling the arm? Pit. Oh, I didn't label the rest of them. Oh, jeez. Paris Major. Lat City. Popek. And Seratus. We need to do a straight line. They're all straight lines. I can't do a curved one. It's going to look weird. Right? Oh, no, I didn't label it. It's Cora. I don't want to write it. Here, we're going to just... There it is, the coracobrachialis. Okay. So, with that, that concludes our lecture on the armpit. I hope you learned something and enjoyed my incessant banter. I used to fill the space and hide my deep, biting insecurity. Let's hop into the Q&A.